I'm Steve.
And I'm Les.
And this is Tabletop Tastings. Welcome to another episode of Sip and Play. Les, what did we play?
Today, we played the 2 to 4 player card game, Clash of Corgis. Clash of Corgis has 3 different game modes that you can play with. One is essentially a trick taker where you lead with either 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 cards of a matching type, and then the player next to you has to play that same number of cards, but at a higher value to beat you. The little fun piece to that, though, is that every card, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, your ace and wild card each have a unique ability that can either help you or hamper your opponents that way. So it's kind of a neat little take on the trick taker that way. There's also the mode Treasure Island, which personally was my favorite in it, and that's where you build a party of 2 different characters, and those characters can mess with your opponent, and you have to try to beat random opponents, which then become loot, and the first person to get 10 loot for that wins. And I actually really enjoyed that game mode. Then there's Capture the Illusionist, which is essentially you build a little grid of 4 by 2 cards, and you're trying to figure out where your opponent's illusionist is, and be the first one to capture them. So that is Clash of Corgis. It's a neat little cute card game. Steve, what did you think of this?
Yeah, so, I mean, it's cute. It's got little corgis, so it's got little dogs on it. I really enjoyed Treasure Island. Of all of the ones that we played, the 3 types, I thought that was the most engaging for a card game. Because a card game's not usually something I'm going to gravitate
Yeah, normally
towards.
you're more of a board game.
Yeah, if I'm sitting down at the table, I want a board game.
Yep.
But I really did quite enjoy that. I thought that that was interesting, and trying just to grab loot. And once you caught on to how it's played, I did enjoy that.
Yeah, Treasure Island, we had a fun time playing that.
Yeah.
The original mode, maybe we didn't have the best time with it. I think part of that has to do, though, with player count as well.
Sure.
We just played with 2 players. I think if you got 3 or 4 going with that, it would be more enjoyable. My biggest complaint with the game is that I'm 45 years old, and the instructions are written so tiny. It's actually, it's quite difficult for me as an aging person to read and to learn this. The other piece is, like, I would love if there was some text on the actual cards themselves to tell you what that ability is. I do get why they didn't do that, because there are 3 different game modes, and the abilities change with each of those 3 different modes. But for me, that's kind of really my only complaint with it, is that it's difficult to learn just because the size of the font for it. After you learn it, though, you quickly remember what each of the different characters do then for it that way.
Yeah, it's definitely a game that you have to play a few times, and then you're going to get comfortable with it to be able to play it. And again, that Treasure Island was fun. After like a couple of rounds going back and forth, I did start to really enjoy it, and you kind of get to understand how the game is played and what each one from 1 to 9, and then your ace and your wild card do to give you the extra abilities. So I really did enjoy that part of it.
And I do want to say thank you to the Clash of Corgis designer, because they sent us this copy to review. In fact, the first copy got lost in the post as well, so they actually sent us 2 copies. Those copies were eventually found, though, as well. So we do have an extra copy that's unopened. If you leave a comment on this video, we'll give it 30 days from when this video posts, and then we'll look at all the comments, and we'll choose one randomly to win a copy of the game itself. But Steve, we don't just play board games here. What did you bring to pair with our playthrough of Clash of Corgis?
Okay, so I didn't really even know what Clash of Corgis was, but I know what a corgi is. Short little legs, tiny little dog. And so...
That's a great definition.
Yeah, it is, right? The queen's choice of dogs as well.
Right.
So I really was like, okay, what do I pair with that? I want a short, stubby little bottle. And so I have found...
Okay, whatever. Oh, that is short and stubby.
Yeah, it is short and stubby, right? It's a tiny little bottle. Foxes Bow. It's an Irish whiskey. And I think that we really enjoyed it, but let's go to the bottle pop.
Perfect.
All right, let's crack it open. Foxes Bow from Ireland.
Ooh.
I'm excited.
The Irish make whiskey?
Oh, do they
I'm just kidding.
ever. Les, watch your mouth. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this.
Ooh.
Let's hear it all the way from Ireland. Ooh, Les, I can see its cork inside. I'm looking forward to this.
Okay, let's hear it.
All right.
Ooh.
at that.
Pretty good. Let's see that. Let's see
I thought that was pretty good.
Oh yeah, that's
You
a
have
nice,
that little and
nice
then
bee
pop.
cork.
I like it.
So nice color on the side.
Okay, so this is Foxes Bow, aged in American bourbon barrels and then finished in Oloroso and rye casks.
Ooh.
So I think we're gonna have
Okay.
a pretty good.
Nice glug off that. She's pretty light in color.
It is a little bit light in color, isn't it? Yeah. It is pouring all over the place.
So it's a little leaky, little leaky.
43% ABV. Let's get a little nose.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
promising.
getting that Oloroso, yeah. Definitely. You really wanted to go with these Irish whiskey glasses, but
I love these glasses.
they are beautiful
Among some of my
glasses.
favorite, yeah.
They're not the greatest for nosing, but they are really nice. Okay, so getting some spices off of it, definitely like right away. So you get that little bit of that rye characteristic immediately hit with the Oloroso. You
Yeah.
get that sherry. I
Yep.
love that. So it's nice, a little bit of sweetness to it.
Smells quite, quite pleasant.
Yeah, it does smell really nice. Like you said, it is kind of light in color, but if anything has taught us that doesn't always mean a whole lot.
You know,
Ardbeg is
yeah, very light color.
Ardbeg
rich
is
in
very
flavor.
light color, and it'll just punch you right in the face. But
Well, shall we go in for
oh
it?
yeah, let's go in for it. So it's pretty light.
Very sherry. You taste the sherry.
Yeah, it's got that sherry. The rye is almost gone for me. Like I don't get much. Maybe as we drink, we'll have through the game. I'll get a little bit more of that, but
And we had been drinking
it's kind of gone.
not too long ago a 65%
Yeah.
drink. So coming to this off
Yeah.
of that is a little underwhelming.
Yeah.
However, what I would like is as we play this game and we get to enjoy this more throughout the playthrough, the flavors will become more predominant and pronounced to us.
Yeah, I think so too. It's very nice. Like there's
It's nice.
nothing.
It's lovely.
It's it's very pleasant, is what I would say. Okay, so there you have the bottle pop, our first initial reactions. Irish whiskey finished in Oloroso and rye casks, 43%. It kind of opened up a little bit as we were going. Well, it did, just because I got a little bit more used to it, which is kind of like the game. So I got a little bit more used to it, and it's definitely lower in ABV than what we're gravitating
So
to. right?
Foxes Bow, where are they from?
All right, so this is an Irish whiskey. I like the story of it as well because it is two friends that kind of got together and started to create whiskey. What we have is we have Tony Foote and we have Alice Carroll.
Is the guy's last name Foote?
Yeah, Foote.
Tony Foote.
Tony Foote. F-O-O-T-O-T-E. Sorry, F-O-O-T-E.
So Foote?
I would say Foot.
Okay.
It's Irish, so maybe it's Foot, Fault.
He gets around though. He gets around.
Yeah.
Sometimes just by his feet, but yeah. Okay.
Oh, that was
It
terrible.
was really, really bad. Carry on.
It was really, really bad. All right, so they started this up and they really wanted to be connected to their community, which is in Limerick, Ireland. And so Tony was born there. And that, in fact, the Foxes Bow is a name of a street in that hometown that he came from, which is kind of cool.
Have you prepped a good limerick to go along with this whiskey?
No,
No. Okay.
that's not something I'm going to do.
Okay, let's go. Okay, sorry. Carry on.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. Both of them kind of together use what they know and what they were good at, and they have envisioned just having a whiskey that is going to have some creativity, which is kind of that Oloroso and that finishing part
give it
to
that,
it,
yep.
but kind of stay true to Irish whiskey. It's very pleasant. It's really nice, which is really kind of a nod to Ireland because those people they're pleasant. They're fun to be around. We like them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's not necessarily my favorite
Sure.
bottle of whiskey that I've ever had. But again, it is pleasant. There's not a ton of complexity to it.
So expect a burst of red fruit flavors followed by a delicious wave of spice in a world full of sheep. Be the fox. In a world full of sheep, be the fox.
Yeah. Eat or be eaten, I guess.
That's a
is
bold
what that
statement.
means. I do like the packaging.
So it's
right?
funny. I was ready to kind of hate on it.
Okay.
But it's only $50.
Yeah.
And it's only $50. For $50, that's not bad.
No, exactly. Someone that's like a whiskey enthusiast, that they're always looking for the next and newest thing, a lot of them are going to look for a high ABV. You're not going to get that with this. However, if you're looking for a nice tasting Irish whiskey, you really can't go wrong with it.
Yeah.
It's good. And especially for like a game like this, you just want something simple and that is really just enjoyable.
Okay, so Steve, I
it's good.
gotta ask you then. So if you had a choice, Clash of Corgis or the Foxes Bow, which is better? Is the game better or is the whiskey better?
The whiskey. I would go for the whiskey way quicker than I would for the game.
Well, okay, so that's kind of interesting because the game itself was actually, like, we had fun playing the Treasure Island portion of it. The whiskey that we have here was just okay, right? But would you ever actively seek this out?
So I can see enjoying this on like a hot day on my deck, and just I want something that is gonna just kind of quench that bit of whiskey. I want a little bit of whiskey, and I don't need it to be, you know, punching me in the face like an Ardbeg or Lafroig, like a Scotch. And I don't necessarily always want like a lot of spice from rye. And so sometimes you just want something that's smooth and mellow. That's what you're gonna get here. So I really enjoyed that part of it. The price point is good on it as well. For comparison to a card game, I again would go to the table looking for a board game. So I'm probably not going to choose to play Clash of Corgis as opposed to grabbing a bottle of Foxes Bow.
So, I mean, you're discriminating a little bit. Like
a little bit.
A card game. I think I agree with you, though.
Okay.
I think I prefer the whiskey over the game. The game I did have some fun with, but I do have some issues with it as well. Like, there's no information printed on this box at all. It is a nice little box. Things kind of fit inside of it quite lovely, actually. But if I was looking to buy something, there's no player count on the box. This is a second edition of this game, but I have no indication of that because it's not printed anywhere on the box. The box, although stylish, I feel like it's missing some key information that is useful for people trying to decide whether to buy a card or board game at all. The other thing is just the fonts are far too tiny. Otherwise, it is an adorable little game. We did have fun playing it. But
the Treasure Island part, yes, I really quite enjoyed that.
It was great. But the Foxes Bow does beat the Corgi ever so slightly.
Yeah.
So Steve,
Les,
I think we've learned a very valuable lesson.
I think we have.
And that is, if you're going to play the 2 to 4 player card game Clash of Corgis, you want to pair it with
Foxes Bow Irish Whisky.
My name is Les.
And I'm Steve.
And this is Tabletop Tastings.
That it is.
Have a great day.
Yeah.
It's very, very light.
It is. 43%. So it is light, lower than we normally do. We are playing a game about corgis, so I totally thought, you know what, this is kind of a stubby little bottle, and I thought that's gonna go really well with corgis.